Scheduled meeting of the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission for Wednesday, February 11th, 2026 may come to order. Please, everybody silence your cell phones, vibrate or turn off. Thank you. Roll calls. Stephanie, can you please call roll?
Okay. Diane Bean.
Present.
Just want to make sure I say the last name right too. Is it Jana Caswell?
Caswell.
Caswell.
Present. Yep.
Walter Bone.
Present.
Catherine Kaufman. Angeline Beretta Herman.
Here.
And Terry Bledsoe. Okay, we're good.
Thank you very much. I guess we'll move to approval of the agenda. City staff, do you have any changes to the agenda tonight?
I have no changes.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to approval of the minutes, December 10th, 2025. I guess public participation in accordance with resolution number 1189, a 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission. This is the opportunity to address any item not on tonight's agenda.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the approval of the minutes real quick. So does anybody have any questions about the meeting minutes?
I do.
You do? Okay. What's the question?
On 4B, it might have been just my printer, but it doesn't indicate who actually was presented the Donna Jean Miller Preservation Award.
I will make sure that Robert Mathan's the one who did it. So I'll make sure he's in it. I'll make sure his name's in there.
Yeah.
If it's not.
No.
I usually do put their name in there as in who was the presenter, but if I did not, I will make that change to make sure his name is in there.
Thank you. That's the only change I have.
Okay.
Otherwise, I move that we approve the minutes as stated.
I'm happy to second.
You want to second it?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Member Beretta Herman?
Yes.
Member Caswell?
Yes.
Member Bean?
Yes.
And Chair Bone.
Yes.
On the motion to approve the December 10th, 2025 regular meeting minutes with the changes, the vote is 4 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Thank you very much.
All right, and you already went through the whole public participation, so you want to open it?
Yes. I guess we can open this up to the public for comment.
Nothing? All right.
Nothing? Anybody else hiding out there? No? All right, the public hearing is closed. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Something I'm very, I guess, personally excited about is the Historic Plaque Program. This is a discussion of the future of the current Historic Plaque Program. Staff, do you have any presentations or anything to add?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So over the years, since about 1999, the Planning Department had several applications or flyers that promoted the plaque program. The plaque program is an excellent way a property owner can show pride and provide the general public with the construction date of their structure. The plaque program should be offered to any property owner that has a structure that is 50 years old or older. The plaque itself does not designate any property or structure as a local landmark building or a local landmark itself, and so there's no restrictions that are assigned to the property or the structure just because a plaque was ordered by that property owner. So in this slide, I attached the exact plaque. This is a plaque that we have manufactured from bronze, and each plaque is individually numbered. So early under the plaque program, the city had a mailer that mailed out to properties that were located within the 2 national registered historic districts. So as you can see, this mailer kind of said, congratulations. It talks about that their home had been shown by the Historic Preservation Commission, that, had some historical significance. So basically it was all the contributing structures that was in the national districts. We kind of sent this letter out. This letter was definitely an old letter, so this was probably one that was done in the early 2000s or late 1990s. And then they could always send it back with a photo, and if they wanted to to order a plaque. So sometime later, this became the application that was being used by the department, and it's currently would be the one that's used today. It just doesn't have the updated phone number and contact information in this particular one here. As you can see, the front page kind of gave the address, and then it showed what the plaque looked like, and they could check if they wanted to get a plaque. The backside kind of gave a little bit of information about the program, about their property being 50 years old or older. At that time, it was, I think, a $275 fee that was to cover the cost. It let them know how long it would take to get the plaques, which were usually 4 to 6 weeks, or sometimes longer if they were behind in production. And then Commissioner Bledsoe provided staff with some possible language for a new application or flyer. So she kind of put a little sketch together. We'd be glad to provide each one of y'all with one of these, but it should be in your packet for the agenda. The only thing we would not want to require any property owner that wanted to purchase a plaque, they should just be able to go to the planning department and we could verify the age of the home. We don't want them to have to come to a public hearing for a plaque that they're looking to purchase. So it's not like an award that's been given out. So we wouldn't want to hold up the period of time by making them come to this body asking for the plaque when in years past, the staff and the planning department has just validated the year. We looked in the Sanborn maps, things like that, to validate the year of construction, and then we would put in an order for the plaque. And then once it came in, we would contact the property owner and they would come pick that plaque up. So really what we're looking for is we're kind of looking for guidance on possible updating the notifications, advertisements, or the application. If you have feedback, we would love for you to submit that to Stephanie Farrar, which is the assigned to this commission. And then we can come back with maybe a draft. We'd like to do that for the next meeting, which is in April, have a final draft. And if you guys approve the draft, then we'll incorporate that in either a mailer or some type of application and see, and then also on our website. So hopefully we can promote it, and maybe we'll have some more people interested in the plaque. I'm not sure how many plaques we've had, but I'm thinking 53 or 54 over the years is how many we probably ordered. So just off the cuff, I don't have a list in front of me. So with that, it's really any questions that you guys have or any input. We want you to have a discussion among yourselves, and anything that you can give guidance to staff, we'll be glad to try to put a package together and at the next meeting have something for you guys to vote on.
Very good, thank you very much.
I have a couple comments. I would think this is going to be a trifold, I take it.
That was a trifold, yes.
Okay. On the middle of the second page, when it has the plaque itself, I'd like to suggest that the statement, the plaques do not signify an official historic designation and in no way restrict the use or maintenance of your property. I find that because that seems to be a really stickling point whenever I encourage people to consider their homes or properties as a landmark. So I would suggest that there be a space between the first paragraph and the second, and perhaps have this sentence in a different font, so it really stands out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, I understand what you're saying, and we provided this because this is something that has been around probably for 12 years. So it's just the old application.
Yeah, but I think that's probably one change I would suggest. I assume this other statement that you went out years ago, we're not going to use this one?
No, I just wanted so that you would have something of what was sent out. I think this would have been probably around 2012, 2010 to 2012, and then about 2013 or 14, it was replaced with this trifold type of submittal.
Yeah, and I think also on this piece of paper, which you have, we're not going to use it, says New Smyrna Beach House Proud. It says the city has approximately 1,200 structures within the city built before 1940. And then it talks about, is your home 50 years older? I think we should probably make sure that those two things click, so it should maybe date the history of how, if your house was built before 1975.
Yeah, I thought that was a little confusing too.
Right. So that there was submitted by Ms. Bledsoe. Staff did not put that together. So we just wanted to provide that so that you guys would see something being provided to us by one of the
Yeah.
commissioners, and so that maybe you could provide your own, and we kind of
And
put
really-
everybody's ideas together.
Yeah. I really want to thank Terry for trying to start looking at this, because it
Yeah.
always takes a while to put it together.
Yeah, it's just a matter of wording. I think it's
Sure.
important to make the statement of the 1,200 structures prior to 1940 being constructed, but the, kind of separate it out a little bit, but you can take advantage of this historic plaque program if your house or your structure was built before 1975 or earlier, or 76 now coming into it, so.
Correct. We did not want to limit the plaque to just the period that was established in our two historic districts, which were from the 1880s to the 1940s, kind of as an architecture. So we didn't want to limit it to just those periods of people. So if you had a house that was built in the 50s or 60s or 70s, and you met the 50 years old or older, and you felt like you want to have a plaque for your house that said 1975 or 1971, we wanted to give you the option to have that, because this is a private purchase. They're purchasing it. We're making the order through the foundry that makes the Donna D. Miller Award, same foundry. We just wanted to give an option, because, just because your house is not 100 years old doesn't mean that you didn't put money and renovate that house and bring the house that you feel you're proud enough that you want to have something that says, this is the
think-
year it was built, and it's
Yeah.
considered like it doesn't have a historical status, but it's over 50 years old, so it's got
been-
some type of history. Yeah.
It's being recognized, yes.
But we don't want to put any restriction on that person, because
Yeah.
if we put restrictions, then they may not want to be part of the
Right.
program. So the program is more about, I think, for the property owner themselves, so they could order or buy something that says, hey, I'm proud of my house, we spent money, we renovated it, and now I want to have something on the wall that says,
Yeah.
And part of the civic pride,
civic
Yeah.
pride of your home. Yes, sir.
exactly.
Right.
If somebody is interested in doing that now, is it something they could go ahead and do? We wouldn't have to wait till April?
They can do it right now. They just have to contact Stephanie, and she can, really what we need is the address, the person's signature they want it. We'll verify the cost, because that fluctuates. Once we know what the cost is, then we can, and the checks, because you usually have a check written, and then we place the order. So we can do that today. If somebody wanted today, she can just reach out to Stephanie. We need a photo of the house, and then what the year construction that you felt, and then we'll kind of verify and find that.
Do
The-
we,
the-
I'm sorry to interrupt,
That's
but
right.
you, that's what I wanted to ask about. Is there, and what is it, is there a verification process if I say my house was built 100 years ago?
Yes,
What-
yes.
so
So
what's
we have maps that date back into the 1880s.
Great.
And so we look on the Sanborn fire maps to see if your house is shown on that map.
Great.
And so it was, I think it was 1885, I think it was 1899, I think 1901, 1906, I think 1910 or 1911, and then there was one in 1924, and there's one in, I think, 1930. So out of those maps, we can historically look. People who built in the 70s, we can look at arrows and figure that out. And we also use the property appraiser as a tool. We want to find as many avenues as we can, so that if everybody's kind of in agreement, it's a lot easier for us to verify the date. And when you put the date on there, we put it as an error. So, if we're off by a year, it's kind of like the error. So it could, you might show up on the 1906 map, but 1901, so you would be 1906 error, but you could actually have been 1904, 1905. You just built between the two maps. So,
When I looked at my house, there's several different dates offered, depending on what you look at.
Right.
And some of them might be just when the house was permitted to be built, or then it was when it was actually built,
Occupied,
and then
yeah.
when it was actually occupied. So there might be 3 different dates.
Right.
So it sort of floats, so.
Right. So we look on the property appraiser, see what date they have. That's the first tool. That kind of gives us an area. The next tool that we look at is if it's in one of our national registered districts or it's contributed structure, then we have master site files from the state of Florida. So we have one that's usually from 1988, and we had one that was done in 2008. And so we had a private firm that evaluated those structures to see if they should be contributed structures in those national districts. And so they put down what they feel is the date of construction. So now we have that firm, and then we finally look at the Sanborn maps. and see if we can take all three of those dates and find out what's the date we can come up with. Because sometimes the property appraiser could be way off. Usually the folks that do the master site files are pretty close. And then we start looking at those old maps. And then as soon as we see it show up on a map, then we know, okay, that's the year we're gonna use. And then like this one, we have a copy, we put CA period, so that way it's like the error. So even though this says 1915 on the one that's an example, it could have been 1914, could have been 1913, but it wasn't 1910 because it didn't show up on the 1910 map, but it did show up on 1915. So we put the CA as, this is the error of that, so.
So you mentioned that the price of the plaques fluctuate.
It can,
So I guess it feels weird to me that if someone applied for a plaque in January and then someone else applied in May, that there might be two different
Yeah.
prices. Can we establish a price each year that accounts for, I don't know, what are the
so it's all
fluctuations
based,
huge?
it's based on the material. It's a foundry. So when she contacts them and says, hey, we'd like to order a plaque, what's the cost? They will look and say, here's the cost for that plaque right now.
Yeah.
But if the materials go up in 90 days, they may up their price. If materials go down, they may lower their price. So it's gonna be with the material, that bronze,
The stock market and.
right.
and-
So it's all about
like gold,
material
silver, and
cost.
everything else.
Sure, no, I get that.
And
but is
because,
there-
and because we're such a small client of theirs, I'm not sure if they will give us a price for the entire year. Because we only probably order one or two Donna D. Miller a year, and maybe one or two of these every few years, so. And they have to make a mold each time, so each one's a new mold that they use to
So is the,
cast it.
and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but is the fluctuation $5? Is it $500? Well, it'd be $500.
Depends on the
but is
market
it-
price. You think
Right,
that-
but I
Right.
mean, have we seen huge swings, or are
So-
we talking about a couple bucks?
Well, I can tell you, when this flyer was created, it was $275.
Right.
And I think the last time that we ordered one, it might have been $225. So it actually went down $50 than when this flyer was originally printed. So,
And I think that's important when we put the phrasing in the third, what do you call it, panel, which now says you may acquire a highly quality historic plaque for $275. Plaques are delivered approximately 4 to 6 weeks. I think probably be better to say, make sure that we understand that the plaque is approximately $275.
Right.
And
It
then
says, you could just do in parentheses or
Yes.
italicized in a smaller font,
Yeah.
stating, based on market conditions, no cost will be based on market conditions.
Right.
Or the cost of bronze or what have you.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll reach out to the foundry and see what the day's price would be if somebody ordered one today. And when do they expect if there's gonna be price differences? Because, they may purchase some material, they may have a price that they have for themselves, maybe 6 months. Like, they guarantee a price with their vendor for the material, could be a 6-month price, where they don't change it for 6 months. But if their prices go up, they're gonna have to change the pricing
Yeah,
for them.
that's
their
understandable.
clients. But it has gone down the last few times we ordered compared to what it used to be. So maybe it's just the price of bronze is less, or
It's not silver or gold.
not silver or gold, no.
Well, they've come down recently too, so.
Yes.
It hasn't?
So last
Past couple
time,
days.
I think last meeting, we were debating about the cost of sending information out to the residents. Have we come up with a solution for that? Because you've got the
We
threefold, so I'm
can-
assuming you're going to mail it.
We can do mail-outs. The city has an overall budget for postage. It's not just the planning department. So we can do mail-outs. The biggest thing is the time it takes to stuff the envelope. So if you have 500 letters, then staff's time trying to stuff those envelopes. The copiers can print them, they can fold them for us, and we just have to get them stuffed. And that's really the biggest thing about doing a mass mail-out is having staff filling those in. Unfortunately, Stephanie is the one that would be printing those, so,
Well-
we have to help her, otherwise she has to stuff 500 or 600
A
envelopes.
one-man band show.
Yeah,
Well, there are opportunities with your local shops, restaurants and everything else, grocery stores, where you could have, you have the homes
Yeah.
things and all that type of stuff, where we also have other New Smyrna Beach, Chamber of Commerce literature out there that these can be placed in.
Yeah.
The chamber has a place, the Little Griddle has a place, the
Yeah.
library has a place. I think once we get them, we can find out how to redistribute them for sure.
yeah. I think we just want to get to, we can get a final product
Yeah.
so that we can have that available to either mail out or, take to some of the local places around here for people to pick up.
But, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, does the city keep a directory, for lack of a better word, of those properties that have been approved for the plaque, so that if someone wanted to know
Yeah,
where
we
these
do,
homes are?
we do have a list. Stephanie has a list of the ones that have been ordered over the years. There may be, I think we found there could be some gaps in those in some years, but we do have a list of most of all the properties that have applied and received it. And really, it's, the only approval is just the date of construction. We want to get that right.
Well, so I guess where I'm going is it would be cool if we're going to have this program, if you really want to try to promote it, is that someone who is interested could go somewhere on the city's website or something and say, we're proud of our city's heritage. Here are
Right.
the homes that have
Yeah.
been recognized.
Yeah, we just don't know if we want to do that or not because it's a private property coming to us when I want to order a plaque. And it's not something that's being given by the city, and we're not making any money off of it. So we're giving it them as a private opportunity. And they haven't, and we'd have to have something as part of the application for them to sign that says they give us the rights to utilize that information. Like with the Donna Dean Miller Award, we have that in there so that way we can use them and promote them, but then we're paying for that plaque that's being given out.
Got it.
So, I mean, it could be done, we just probably need to, I'm sure, as it gets through legal, there's gonna be some statement they have to sign that says they're giving us the right to utilize,
Yeah,
publicize that they've purchased something from
I
us.
guess that could be problematic, so if someone sells the home, now the new owner says, what do you mean? You didn't have my right to do it, so
Right.
I withdraw the question.
So,
Don't withdraw the
I
question.
think most people probably wouldn't have a problem,
No,
but
but
there
I-
could be a handful of people that be like, it's kind of private, I didn't want you to put that out there.
I think it's really, if they have what would you call it? There is a sort of phrase that you use that you give your permission for this.
Yes.
I think we can do that. I just want to say that I think it's very timely because I think there are more people talking about historic preservation. And between this and what's coming up on the next agenda item, the historic home preservation facade improvement 50/50 matching, and that's a long title for this thing. But I mean, if you can kind of start seeing several pieces happening at the same time, the visibility is really becoming much more universal. I mean, I think the event this Saturday night by the History Museum is another one of those events that bring historic preservation to the fore. So I think if we can see ourselves as doing 5 or 6 initiatives in historic preservation, that's a real step forward.
And it's a voluntary, so, it's voluntary if somebody wants to have one. I think what we'll do is, we will come up with something that we want to present to you at the next meeting, so that way you can give the thumbs up, maybe some minor twitches, you might want to make some minor changes. But if you have some ideas, please, you can email those to Stephanie over there, so we can kind of put it together, and we might take a little bit here and there. There may be some duplications of what people are putting down. We'll try to figure out the wording, we'll make sure that legal's okay with what we're trying to do. We just don't know if you want us to do, we definitely have to have an application so we can have a record of it. But, if you want us to do a mail out, we can do a mail out. I know that this mail out they had before was kind of cheesy. It was kind of like, congratulations, like you won something. You win something, but you got to write a $275 check for it, kind of. So I think that was their tool of trying to get people started when this program probably first initiated. So,
I know I've mentioned this several times in our meetings here. My hands should be slapped numerous times, but yeah, I need to contact Stephanie, write that check. And
Yeah.
so I need to deliver a few more newspapers on my route in order to purchase it, but I'll go and get that done
There you go.
quickly.
Move some more newspapers. The thing is, the hardware stores will tell you that when someone paints their house in their neighborhood, they start selling paint. Because somebody else's neighborhoods, they want to paint their house. They want to paint their house. And next thing you know, you start selling paint. So the more ways that we can come up with homeowners to understand that they can purchase things like this. Because if somebody purchases this plaque and then they had their neighbors over and their neighbor's like, where'd you get that on the wall? Oh, I ordered it for the city. Next thing you know, they're gonna want one. And so, so we want that. So the more that's out there, the more chances that people are gonna either buy a plaque or nominate somebody for the Donna Dean Miller Preservation Award. We used to get 5 or 6 applications a year for that award. Now we're getting 1, maybe 2. So it used to be a contest. People would sit out here and they were like, I hope they choose my house because there's 5 houses to choose from. And then some of those have applied each year, and eventually they might have gotten that award, so it kind of thinned it out. But, you know, we would need to get back to the point where we have multiple applicants again, that maybe people want to order these plaques. Maybe they want to get involved with the museum, because once, you know, there may be people that may not know how much the museum means to the city, and if they visit the museum, they may want to be part of the museum as well. So it's like little steps can become bigger steps, and more people can get involved, and maybe the more awareness will be out there for the general public.
And I think there's opportunity with the mayor. You know, once a month, he's out at the farmer's market and takes one person from different departments out there. And maybe that's something that we can, I'll be happy to volunteer the first time. You know, he has the tent set up with a table. It's usually just two, but if, with the upcoming next event, or next farmer's market, the mayor will be out there. I'll be happy to go out there, and if we can have a handful or a small stack of brochures,
Yeah.
I'll help do the tri-folding and just take 20, 30, 50 of them with me.
There you go.
And
You're correct. I think it's the first one of the month.
First
that he
Saturday
does.
of the month.
He does have one of the directors from each department, so every month there's a different department that's going to be there. Our department is one of those 12 months. Our development service director, which is the one that attends that meeting. I'm not sure when the next one is for him, but maybe we can get this all together and get it finalized, and hopefully in time, whenever his next time, and it could be part of his.
Is that Sean?
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah, Shane.
Shane?
Could we, along those lines, you could potentially, even if it's not Shane's month, have the plaque, a plaque, if we have one, and just let the mayor have it at his table.
Yeah.
With the flyer, once we get it done, or some information, so that people can ask about it, whether or not Shane's there.
Yeah, we just have to figure out what month would be a good month for the mayor, because I know like when he has the leisure service director, there's probably a lot of leisure service handouts and stuff from that director. So we have to figure out which director it is, and if they're gonna have anything, and so we don't take their space away. But we can definitely look into that. That's a great option.
yeah, all right, fantastic. All right. I'm sorry, do we have any public participation?
We welcome public participation if you want to open up, if somebody wants to come and speak, that's fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if there was, you know, based on all of our comments and discussions here, if there was any interest in the public in joining us. No?
She's
No.
good.
All right, well, thank you. We'll close it to the public. Any other, I guess there's not really any other discussion or comments from the commission here. I guess now we'll have some comments from commission members and city staff. Members of the commission and city staff will now report on activities and events attended and comment on citizen questions and concerns for staff to address. We'll start off with the 2024-2025 Certified Local Government, CLG, Annual Report, Good Standing Letter.
Yeah, so the last agenda, we had that report. It was pretty long. It was a pretty thick report. I'm not sure if it was like 900 pages we put together for the state. It contains minutes and agendas and all kind of things, including applications of our new members, so that way they know who is on the board. That's due every year by November 1st. And so, like I said, the last meeting we had that report, so that way the public could see the report. For this meeting, we've received the good standing letter, which means they've reviewed that report and they've accepted that report without any changes. So they issue us a good standing letter, which means we're good standing as a certified local government with the state of Florida in case we decide we want to apply for any grant money through that organization. A lot of grants that they offer to the CLGs are non-matching grants, which means they'll give 100% grant. So we're hoping that maybe this year we can apply for some grants for this commission, which could be 100% grants. And those grants could cover education, so like for flyers, for pamphlets. Also, at some point in time, we have not had our master site files updated since 2008. And so we would definitely love to apply for a grant to get those updated. They're done by a private company, so we would have to get the city commission to approve the application for us to apply for the grant, but it's a 100% grant, so there's no matching funds required. And it's usually up to $50,000. So by staying in good standing, we have options to apply for those grants. We have to, we're in run-ins with the other CLGs in the state, so not everybody gets the money, but hopefully if they feel it's a strong enough application, we can get ranked higher than other municipalities and receive those funds.
Exactly what's on the master file?
So the master site file starts off with the address and, of course, and any information they have. They take a photo of the property from the right-of-way. They look to see if they can find any history on that house, what type of architecture that house has, and what the history of that type of architecture is. So if it's a bungalow or a colonial home or a Victorian home, they'll give a little bit of history of when those homes were built in the state of Florida and what period of time. They'll also figure if they feel that the house is a contributing structure for the district. They'll also determine if they feel that the house or commercial building is eligible to be on the National Register by itself. So we do have some structures in Florida or in our city that are on the National Register themselves individually. One of them is the Magnolia, which was known as the Women's Club. That's on the National Register by itself, not part of the registered district. They're also part of that as well, but they have their own individual designation. And we have a couple of those. The Heritage Museum on North Dust Street is also, which was the old Catholic church. That's on there, and there's a couple others. And I believe in your manual, I think we have all the properties that are on the National Register by itself. So
If they update the national, or the master file, the site master file, will then that change the district at all?
it won't change the district. They'll take existing files that we currently have of all the contributing structures, and they'll reevaluate those with updated photos and any updated information.
So it's possible that a contributing structure would go into a different category?
They may be eligible to be on the National Register themselves, but usually it takes some type of act on the property. So either some historical figure either owned it, lived it, or practiced something there. If it was, so usually something has to happen on the property, or the property was owned by somebody that was a figure that was either part of the construction of our state, our country, our city, our county. So, that type of thing.
So the last time the master file was updated was 1988?
1988,
Holy mackerel, that's
yes. Or excuse me, 2008 was the last time it was updated.
still,
1988 was the first one. The second one, the update was
I think
2008.
it's time.
So it's time. It's
Yeah.
time.
I graduated college in '88, so.
Yeah. Those grant funds are provided by the federal government from the Department of Interior, and they are given down to the states. And then the states decide who receives the grants. So Department of Historical Resources in Tallahassee, that's who you apply through. And then they will have a public meeting and rate each application. And they have different categories as well. So you have like a large matching grant that could be up to a couple $100,000, but the smaller non-matching grants, this is probably what we'd be looking for to update our master site files. And we would have a consultant that does that for their firm and hire their firm to do that for us.
Would it be appropriate now to make a motion that we request the city to move toward applying for a grant to update the master file?
We would probably prefer to have something on the agenda itself.
Okay, could we add that to the agenda
Yes.
for next time,
Yes.
please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other items?
Sure, I do have other items. I provided each one of you with the information for the historic facade grants. That is a local grant, a grant that's issued by the city through our CRA, our Community Redevelopment Agency. This is brand new. In fact, some of you might have received the information, but it was approved January the 27th, 2026, so this is brand new. The City Commission approved this program. Before that, the only grants that were available through the CRA were normally commercial grants, unless you were in the historic West Side neighborhood. And so this is a separate grant that's been approved by the county that we can operate. And so this is a facade grant for single-family homes only. You have to meet 2 criteria. One, you have to be a contributing structure in our National Historic District, and you have to also be in that CRA district. And so those maps are in here, and as long as they are in both maps, they're eligible. And they would reach out to Samantha Bergeron, which is our CRA director. She's also our economic development director. This is her pamphlet and her application. So if somebody wanted more information, I would say reach out to her, and then she can let them know what's going to be required, and how much money they can get, and what it can be used for.
How much money can they get?
I think she said $50,000.
50, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a reimbursement grant. So you'd have to have $100,000 of improvements, and then you get reimbursed
Up to 50.
up to $50,000, yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say it was a Samantha
Samantha Bergeron, yes,
Bergeron?
yes. And her name and stuff should be on this application.
Okay, thank you.
It may be a little bit further in, some contact information for her.
Do you know if Samantha has shared, I want to ask this the right way, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. Is someone in the permitting department aware that these funds are also available? So as people come in looking for permits on some historic homes, that maybe they might,
I'm not sure if she's moved that far because this was so new. I know that she had a presentation for this commission at the last meeting, so it's very new. So how it would work is once they do apply, if they have everything that she needs to move forward, they would come in front of this body here. So they would come to this commission to seek a certificate of appropriateness for the work that they're looking to do. And then if they get that certificate of appropriateness, then they'll move forward to the city commission as they operate as the CRA board to vote if they want to grant those grants or not.
yeah, the question I have is how would they, I mean, it's a great program. How would I know if I had an old house that I could
Right.
apply
Right.
for these grants? I don't.
Right. I know.
It doesn't do us much good if it just sits on the shelf.
I understand. And I think Samantha is going to be pushing this program. It's just, like I said, it just got approved. She worked very hard for probably about 6 months trying to get it together. It finally got approved at the city commission meeting or on the, was it 27th? So I'm sure that she is working her magic trying to figure out how to get this information out. So,
I think that's the challenge with a lot of these programs that are available, is trying to reach people at the right time. I think, Jana, your comment is very astute, because it says quite clearly in this grant, it's before you do anything.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not reimbursable. So
Right.
getting into the early stages is really important. And I think just everything that we're doing, trying to get people alert to when they see historic preservation on anything, they're going to look at what's happening in that area, and this would be
Right.
one of them.
And I'll check with Samantha. I'm not sure what her Saturday morning with the mayor would be, but that would be a great opportunity to maybe partner with her during her time at
Yeah.
that farmer's market. I'm not sure which one, but I'll check with her.
Thank you.
But I know Samantha is aggressively trying to get these grant monies out. It is on a first come, first serve, so whatever money is funded, once it's used up, then there's no more money into the next budget cycle, which starts always in October 1st. But she has money available right now, and I think she does have a couple people interested, so hopefully we'll see some applications coming to this commission for review, and hopefully we can get some grant money and get some historical homes repaired and brought back up to a certain standard. So
I have
it's just another program, another feather in the cap to help folks out that are, that have older homes in our city that are in our districts.
I have 2 or 3 people I know that I've mentioned this to them, so
Yeah.
I'll help spread the word.
Right. And we wanted to provide you guys each with an application because it has the maps, it has the contact. If you know somebody that's in this area, feel free to reach out to them and say, hey, I know you want to renovate your house. Before you get started, contact this lady here. You might can get some grant money. So, especially if they're looking to do some major repairs, roofing, windows, siding, anything that's on the exterior is what it can cover. So, and those can be major expenses. So,
I also think we probably don't do a good enough job of getting this kind of information out to contractors, architects in our city. Who are,
Realtors?
and the realtors, of course. Those 3 groups sometimes are critical to the success of these kind of programs. So we have to figure out a way that we can encourage or make sure that these individuals are aware as well. Because I know I'm in a process of buying a home, and it really was the electrician that came that talked about what was available to in grant money for that house. Nobody else mentioned it. So I think those contractors are definitely critical to getting a program like this off the ground.
Very good.
All right, I'd like to move on the next. We do have a new member here tonight, so I want to give her an opportunity so she can introduce herself to you guys and, and welcome her to the commission.
Yes, thank you. I apologize that this is my first meeting. I had a conflict in previous meetings, but I met everyone, and I'm delighted to be here, and thank you for your support and patience, especially in probably a steep learning curve, so thank you.
Welcome
in advance.
aboard.
Thank you.
But Janet, you have to tell them about your house and your work in historical preservation and what that.
I do have, well, so I was looking at the maps. Unfortunately, we're not in the district, but we own a home that was probably, we don't know, at least 100 years old. There were two buildings on the property, I guess, a main house. We don't know what it was, but a house and then a main house. Unfortunately, we were not able to salvage the main house, but we were able to renovate. We had to tear it down, but we were able to preserve a lot of the elements of it. We kept the doors, anything that we could reuse, repurpose, we tried to do. And we do have the guest house, which is old and quirky and funky and kind of neat. So I've restored some old homes in Orlando. I just have an affinity and a love of everything old and charming. And so it's a pleasure to be here and learn more about what we're doing as a city for that.
Very good. Thank you.
One more thing, I do want to let everybody know that the next meeting will be on April the 8th, 2026. That's what's on the calendar. So if for some reason you know ahead of time that you're not going to be able to make that meeting, because you're out of town or something happens, please let Stephanie Farrar know so that she can, because if we get if we know ahead of time, then we can always check to make sure that we're going to have a quorum for that night. So, I know she can't help if you have sickness in the family or you're ill yourself. That's last minute. We understand that. But if you know ahead of time, we appreciate it if you let Stephanie know so that she can make sure that we have a minimum number of folks, which is 4, to have a quorum. Otherwise, the meeting can't happen.
All right. Thank you, Bob. I guess any other business or any other items to discuss?
I just want to say that, remind everybody that the annual New Smyrna Beach Residents Coalition home tour is scheduled for March 19th, and it's a 10 to 4 event, and then it's followed by a post-event gathering at the Black History Museum. And we certainly invite all of you to come. Please, if you want to go to the home tour, buy your tickets early, because we're about 2/3 of the way through already. So it's definitely going to be sold out again.
Very nice. Thank you. Anything else? All right, well, I guess we are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening.
And thank you for stepping in.